Good evening, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Dice Illusions Fool's Landing campaign set in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Tonight we are playing session 43, which I'll be the DM of. I'm Jamie, and I'm joined tonight by four great character players who I'll start and introduce yourself and your PC if you would with Wayne. Good evening. Perfect. Awesome, good to have you. Next up, we have Chris. Good evening.
Oh, hey. I'm Chris, and I'm going to be playing Kurza, a 5th level elven mage.
Perfect. And then we have Brandon.
Hello, I am Brandon. I am playing Nod, a Shadow Minotaur Thief, 5th level.
Excellent. And last up is Molly.
Hi, I'm playing Gregor Carrywell. He's a 3rd level fighter. He was my character, Amithra's hireling. She succumbed to the Lich, Veratus.
Yes, she's currently preserved and being watched over by the party as they ascend through the labyrinth. But good to have everybody back. We'll take a quick look. I know everyone's pretty far away from their next level right now, but you should be seeing that Griff did level up. So Griff, who's not here tonight, next time we see him will be a level 6 ranger.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think beyond that, everybody else has their update, but they're not quite there yet. Gregor will probably ding next, and then it looks somewhere between Bart and Nod and Saharn being the furthest away, I think, is going to be in that order. So we'll see how things go, but that's the current state of XP through actually session 42, not 41. And we'll do a quick recap. Last session, the party did quite a bit of exploring. I'll cut over to the map, and this might help remind you all of where we left off if anyone wants to take a stab at what we did last session. Just a quick recap.
Be somebody with a better memory. I have memory issues.
Let's see, there is a character.
I know we encountered some traps. We had to turn back, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is this session
I
40?
think
Take
we
a different
started
route,
in the
and
forge smithy area, like on the floor above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There were traps that we had to disarm.
Jamie was breaking up. Everyone's breaking up.
Your picture had just cut out as well, so I don't know, but everyone else is still there.
I'll try to keep going. There were some traps that we saw. We attempted to disarm them. On their way back through, in the caves, we found a little mushroom-like creature. After we inhaled some of its fumes purposely and not so purposely, we were able to communicate telepathy.
His name was Caprin, and he was a myconoid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, Caprin. We were asking him the way through. He gave us like a magical cool pouch with some ore. I think from there we made our way down here into this area. And we encountered more minotaurs, I believe.
Yeah, your friendly Minotaur, your neighborhood friendly Minotaur was here, and then suddenly you confronted two others, and I think you've in that lower left area you fought two Minotaurs, and then you proceeded back the other direction.
Yeah, we went around to his friends. The friendly Minotaur told us, don't trust to what you remember, follow your nose. Yeah, we went back north around the edge of the labyrinth.
Mm-hmm. And you can see, I think Nod was leaving some markings on the map, so he has brought you down and around, and that's when you encountered this pit trap. It wasn't a pit trap, it was just a pit. And you fashioned a rope across this, and I think you all started filing across, but in the midst of that is when I think it was Griff, who was tucked around the corner here, encountered Minotaurs from this direction, and then there was a big Minotaur that you got in a fight with as well. So let me see if I have that screen.
It was Isnu.
That's right. Yep. Here we
I'm
go.
not sure if the other Minotaur that was there, but
Sue,
Yes,
Lansu.
it was these two guys. Yeah, and I've got these under the creatures folder, so you can see who was who. But yeah, Iasnu was the one with the large sword. I think he lost his sword. He rolled a 1 and dropped the sword, I believe, and then someone else picked it up. Nod picked it up, right? And
And
right.
he
I think
threw
at the
it,
end
right?
of it.
Mhm.
Threw it like a spear. Yeah, it
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
That was awesomely funny.
it was him and Santis who you had killed, and that's where we were. I think that was the last thing that had happened when you were standing in the tunnel area here talking about resting. So,
Was
Right.
Untus one of the two that we killed?
mhm.
Oh wow, that was the mage.
Yeah,
So-
because I remember I picked
Right
up a two-handed sword and stabbed a minotaur with it, and it didn't kill him, and then tried to throw the sword away, and it didn't go far, and then I ran away, and he ran at me, and almost close enough to do damage, but no actions left, and then Nod came up and ripped his guts out from behind.
It was a really fun, unexpected combat. I think it was a really interesting layout of all the turns and twists in the labyrinth coming into play. But it was
Yeah.
a great finish with the using his own sword against him as well, which was awesome. For
The
not
hold spell was critical there.
yes, the hold spell worked and held him, and that's when things really went your direction. So yeah, that was huge. But I think where we left off is maybe that some of you want to rest, I believe, to restore more spells than health. What's your thoughts about that, or your
I
next
think
steps, I
that's
should
where
say?
we were. Yeah, because as far as we know, the big minotaurs that are wandering, we pretty much took most of those guys out, the 4 of them so far in this whole thing. And we were going to rest to recoup spells. We feel relatively safe. Is that where we're at?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at worst there would be 2 more other than the elder, the leader, that could attack us.
And where we are right now, this little dead end is like we can hold up and blockade ourselves or set a trap, whatever we need.
Yeah, because I don't have any spells left, I don't think.
I don't have any healing myself. I have a couple of 2nd level spells and the 3rd level, which do a lot.
Yeah, we don't want to meet the Minotaur boss completely unable to do anything.
I might have a trick up my sleeve.
We
but
can
I'll
always
save it
use
for
that.
another occasion.
Crafty player, you.
What do you got?
I think it was one of those traps we disarmed. It was the powder of stunning or something like that. I would have to look into it. We disabled one of the traps. And I want to say I got 2 powders from the 2 different bag of spores. Disarm trap and got a bag full of trap systems, some type of spore, possibly paralysm. I think we threw it at whenever we were in the Minotaur smithy. There was another time where I attempted to throw it, but there was fire going on, a wall of fire, and
Right.
it exploded.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the group's going to use this corner to try to rest.
Essentially.
Yep.
Putting some kind of blockade here in the front, whether it be like the 5 chest
Still with us, Molly?
or whatever else.
I'm here.
Maybe even setting a trap and noisemaker if we need to.
Let's do group wisdom check here.
Oh, no.
Cleric.
Group.
We're good.
I'm gonna see what the overall success is. So if everyone just roll it here, just for the hell of it.
Now time for the cleric to show us what he's made. Odd stuff.
It should be easy for the cleric.
Hard.
What's there? I wasn't listening. What happened?
Can you do a
wisdom
wisdom check?
Can I? Of course I can. Let me bring up my character sheet, which I don't have up yet because I'm at Mind Flayer.
No, we just hadn't started yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
I'm
it.
just getting ready to rest.
Attributes. Wisdom. Let's roll that sucker. Okay,
One of them.
one of them.
There's got to be somewhere to hide here, huh? To rest, maybe?
Do I get a bonus?
No, just a regular wisdom check.
Mr. DM.
Oh, there you
Oh,
Mhm.
There's a hell of a roll.
that's
Wow.
an ace. That's an ace in those terms, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you feel pretty vulnerable by this opening, and you would feel probably best if you retreated back to where Quig and Frayne are huddled up. You left these guys behind to watch over your horde of things. You'd feel safer there than in this pathway. If you can't make it there and you want to stay here, then you definitely think that you're going to have two people watching, because you got two different directions that you could be come up on. So
I say we just go back to where the guys are.
It's reasonable.
Yeah,
we did
been a while.
leave them back there.
We should see how the
Why-
pirates are doing.
Yeah, why stand in the middle of a pathway where we might encounter people traveling? More minotaurs.
yeah.
The good news is our left markings for the way back.
Yep, and so you'll have to traverse your rope gadget that you set up before, which fortunately was not damaged in the battle. They never made it that far down the hallway. So I think what we had established is that you've got two sets of ropes, one for your feet and one for your hands. So we'll do a +5 dex check for everybody to climb back over, to head back that way.
That's good, because I'm doing it in plate mail.
Oh no.
That was without the +5 or -5.
Yeah.
I think I would still fail.
Yeah, he still failed. That's crazy.
The hooves.
So he fell? Is that where we're at? Did you just fall into a pit?
Yeah, so Nod has lost his grip on this thing. Nod, if you want to make
Well-
another check, I'll let you try to grab onto the rope so you don't falling down.
Weren't there two ropes, a high one and a low one?
There you go. So now you're hanging from the bottom rope, Nod, and you'll have to make your way along now along the rope, and you can use strength now to make your way
Just pull
across.
myself back up,
Yeah,
or that. Yeah, either way.
you can really just do either way. There you go. It's like much easier for Nod to cross that way. But then you fall back down.
I'm just thinking ahead if his dex checks are going to be like this all night.
It's
man.
like he's
Helping
like
him
standing on the rope, but then just falling. Maybe your hoofs just don't ride the rope normally, so you're just falling down, grabbing it, walk. You
Pull
know.
myself back
Yeah.
up.
So you're able
Then
to
finally walk.
yeah, you're able to make your way across this. Ultimately, Nod, you don't have to do eternity checks here on it, but it's hilarious that you would have that outcome.
Failed it twice, exactly.
Yeah.
Just hang on to the top rope.
All right. Has everyone else done their decks to return? I guess I'll.
No.
The PCs have made their rolls.
Watching Nod just fall up and down, he got nervous.
Were you guys doing anything with these bodies? I think they've been looted, but are you leaving them where they were? Give you a chance to ret that if you were doing.
Well, we
anything.
can always put them down
Hit.
throw them down the pit, and we can use them as, just in case we fall, we bounce off them.
Yeah, why not? The fight was close right across that. Yeah,
So
Yeah,
throw
just
them in the
roll
pit.
'em over
Yeah.
and
Okay.
throw them in the pit.
Awesome.
maybe a natural thing. Okay.
I like that.
What's at the bottom of this pit, anyways?
I don't think that you guys have gone
Don't
that
know.
far to determine that. I'll leave the sword where it was, actually. Sword.
Apparently deeper than we can see.
Deeper than we can
Oh, I
see?
forgot about that. I forgot the
Is it?
little icon.
Yeah, it's out of your. You just see it just continue. It narrows. It gets smaller and smaller as it gets below you, but you don't know where it leads.
So when we throw the first body down, how long does it take before we hear a splat?
Good question. I don't know. I guess it would be like maybe 10 or 12 seconds.
Whoa.
That's a long way.
That's a long. That's
Yeah.
Well, for 100 feet down, right? It's got to be
We're gonna need a lot more bodies to make a
To fill it.
fill up
make
this
this
hole.
pit safe.
Fill this
Yeah,
hole.
but it could be clogged now. You never know.
They don't land on the horns.
But all right, it looks like
Well-
everybody else made their way back across. Is that right? And then you guys make your way back towards the beginning area.
Yeah.
Okay. As you're coming back through here, I think you guys have been through some of this section before, and it doesn't look as if it's changed since you were here in less than an hour ago in game time. I'll move you guys all over to that corner. You can,
Yeah, there was a staircase or something through that room.
yeah,
Did that change at all? Is that room still closed off?
it is. Yeah. All right, you guys.
Nobody's come by to press the reset button.
Yeah, I think the fact that you guys have wisely retreated out of there, I am going to hand wave this evening and not make you roll watch or anything like that. So you guys can fast forward to the next morning here and restore spells, get your hit points regained for your con bonus +1, and you're on day 2 in the labyrinth. One thing I'll mention is that Emithra's body was, you guys had cast spells to preserve it, and I was gonna add like a clock timer to keep track of where that's at, because every few days you'll want to renew that if you run out, because I believe you had 1 day per level is what the spell provides, and so it's been maybe 2 or 3 days total, and of your 5, I'm thinking at this point 3 days, so you got 2 days left before you'll have to address that again and make sure she's preserved and that you've got that spell cast. So
We left her back here with pirates, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I believe so.
yeah, with the pirates. Yeah.
Yep. We'll either have to preserve her or cook her so she doesn't go bad on this on the way.
Yeah, you never know. Depends. But all right, so I'll give it back to you guys here to decide how you want to proceed then, and what would the group be thinking during the evening and into the morning, and what would the group be discussing as far as your next plan?
What we're up against is what's so hard.
Yeah.
God can tell us so that we can be as prepared as possible.
Yeah, is the big guy gonna be a caster? Is he not a caster? You've seen him do.
I've not seen him cast spells. I know he is very strong, and he is very stubborn. He does not have patience for travelers like us. He sees us, he will not hesitate to try to kill us.
Ah,
And I believe that you were warned also by your friend Tornuk that he seems to have accumulated some new powers, and so his power has grown, is what the phrase was that he used. So he may have some new tricks up his sleeve, is the warning that Tornuk was giving you at one point in one of your interactions with him. So those are just all things that you might be considering. Beyond that, I think that there's also a little bit of contemplation about who you'll follow going forward, because you'll very likely, if it's as expected by Baden, then you will find a portal soon that will lead to Mithnantar, and he intends to go through it.
That's the other tower, is that correct?
no, that's a city.
That's
City.
a tomb.
That's an underwater city of elves that may or may not still exist at this point. It's believed that they've been basically a part of or a victim of the tower that Veridus was using, so it's unknown. But
Well, Mithra looks like it deteriorated a little bit, folks. Maybe we should proceed onto the Underdark and see if Renwick's people can help her. I don't know about this Elder Labyrinth Lord. Sounds dangerous. Can we come back for that, maybe? Also, out of character, we are 2 folks down.
True enough on that system.
Good point. What's the travel time to our friendly neighborhood rogues?
Yeah, can we ask him how long it would take us to travel there?
Sure. He said if it was just me, it'd be about 4 days. But with all of us, I don't know, 6.
Okay.
This is the only place we can get help for our friend. That's true.
We're
my-
certain that there is help there.
My people will do all
Yeah.
that they can. There are elders and healers in my clan that would give their all to bring her back for what she has done and what has happened to her. So I don't know who, but someone will do what they can for her. I promise. I will assure you of that. They will welcome the slayers of Veridus.
Zaharn, can your magics, how long can they preserve her? Your prayers?
Is it 1 day per level?
1 day per level.
Yeah. Isn't that where we're at on that? I don't have that written down. I have my notebooks in the other one.
Yeah, there's a.
There we go.
This one.
Gentle repose. Yes. Duration 1 day per level.
Yeah. So when it runs out, cast it again.
Right. So she's got 2 more days right now on the current casting, and
Right.
you'll just need to continue to monitor that. But for now, so you'll have to at least cast that 1 more time before you would reach Renwick's
And-
people.
Yep. And we could assume that we have salt and bandaging material among us, so that covers the white linen cloth and a pinch of material components. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We can.
And this is where Baden would say, "Look, friends, I don't know what awaits us in Myth Nantar, but it is ancient magic. It is powerful magic. Their people would be intrigued to see us, to say the least, and I think would give us a gift. I can't promise anything, but it's much closer than Renwick's people."
Of character the DM's giving us.
No, it's
I-
actually
I-
really. I'm really not giving you any. I'm giving you options. I'm not telling you there's a right or wrong way to play it, but giving you options.
Baden wants
Well-
us to go here.
We have a
Because he's not going to the Underdark.
Myth Nantar is an unknown.
Yes,
Does it exist? Does it even have people there?
true. We don't know.
We don't know.
In character,
We
you
don't know how to necessarily get there.
We're
So
just taking our luck on a magic portal ride, and
Right,
not as
and
very typical of
I
him.
would prefer.
He would still be rather. I would say anxious to go kill the other Minotaur, because if he's getting stronger, there's no telling how strong he might get, or if there is not even more come back.
Plus, I would prefer Imithra could walk instead of us having to drag her around.
out of character, especially considering how wealthy necessary she is, hardy in combat situations.
That's
Yeah,
the other thing. We're dragging around all these chests worth of stuff.
Yeah, you guys have like a
Okay.
moving camp.
Can we buy something? Can we convert it to something more smaller? We need to re-provision for the Underdark.
Yeah, we
You
are
know.
nearly out of food.
So
been
we're almost
divvying
out of
up the
food.
rations that we have.
We're dragging all this crap along with us. We've got a dead body, and Baden is proposing we keep dragging all of this stuff to an unknown location with an unknown
Magical people, if they will even.
that may
help
or may
us.
not exist at the other end.
yeah. Saharan is in my heart. I desire to, as much as I desire to discover what has become in the unknown. Our duty is to our companion, so we have to ignore that for now. I'm going to vote we go the other way. Take care of
Underdark?
them all.
And
Yeah.
where if we're going
Got to
to
take care of Mithra.
if we do want to get to Myth Nantar, where do we go? How do we get there?
We have to find the portal, right?
Mhm.
You can always come back.
And the portal could probably be in the very middle of this maze, in which case 6
Oh.
days there, a day or so there, 6 days back, maybe less, since we're not carting so much stuff. Then we can
Yeah.
finish off our favorite mushrooms task for us.
This is what I'll corral Baharn, Gregor, Urza away from Baden and Renwick, and we got 2 extra guys here. We got 1 big guy left. If we continue forward with one of these paths, we will have probably neither when we come back.
I do not understand that.
I don't know. We probably won't have neither what.
Companions.
If we go with Renwick, companions, right? Renwick will
Right.
probably stay with his people, won't come back. If we go with Baden, it's his life goal to go to Mythananthar. He will be in awe there and probably stay to study.
Sorry,
My
Doug,
Assuming they don't kill him.
but we must
Right.
remain loyal to the Mithra.
Yeah, we'll have a
Misuse
Mithra
the
if we
earth.
come back. If Renwick's people can save her.
We had
What's
any
the
other
point of
choice?
carrying all this treasure if we're just gonna? Then we might as well just drop the treasure where it's at, because we're never gonna come back and get it. You
Hide the
know,
treasure to make it faster, but we might need some of the treasure to pay for services.
that's what I mean. If we go to Mythananthar, we just drop the treasure here because we can't do anything with it, and we'll have to worry about starving on our way there.
So yeah, the Underdark seems like a more reasonable choice.
Yeah,
I think we're all
Okay.
agreed with that.
Do we have enough food
Yeah.
to make it there? We do have a Mithra's ring.
We have a cleric. Clerics can supply food.
Okay.
Great food and water. Good.
There are many fine mushrooms along the way, too, friends. Some, but please don't pick randomly. Consult me first.
The last time I
Really?
had a mushroom, it started talking to me.
Why is
Well, there is
everything
that.
so
They are there as well.
colorful?
Some of the ones we will encounter won't be so nice.
yeah, they won't be quite so friendly. Yeah.
Baden, after I think this discussion transpires throughout the night and the morning comes and the conclusion is made, and Baden is obviously observing and understands what the group is deciding now and what that means. And he says, then, I wish you the best of luck, and I will give
But
you this. And he will hand over 2 potions of healing that he has on his belt. And he says, you'll need these more than I think, where you're headed.
Can we try and convince him to stick with us and just delay the trip shortly?
I was going to say is if we can convince him that he's stronger with us
More will be
Indeed.
and a
coming
greater
either
chance
way.
of success, like going into the unknown alone, better off having us with him, and that it's a better idea to come with us the long way and delay his own gratification to ensure success at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the most persuasive among us?
If we're going on
Nodder or
charisma, I have 13. If we're going off wisdom, I have 17. Or his intel.
I'll take a charisma check for whoever wants to attempt to convince Baden with a plea like that. I understand that sensibility, Wayne. I think that's a great idea, that letting him know that you'd be stronger together. But
Yeah, and I'm going to
Um,
argue for the wisdom roll on that.
And also remind him that we didn't leave him behind.
how about you can support the charisma check with a wisdom roll? So basically, if you pass your wisdom check, then you can give a plus to the charisma check.
Hey,
I'll
I like
I'll
the way
try
you
a
do
pure
that,
logic.
Jamie. That's a nice idea. So I just do a straight up wisdom check, no modifier,
No, I don't.
and
Nope.
I cased it again.
You crushed that. That's a critical success in my mind. We'll do +2 to the charisma check. Whoever's gonna do the bargaining,
I'll add some
negotiating.
logic if you want.
Okay, you want to do an intelligence check and throw in a little bit more? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm good with that. I think that with you guys made your checks by 27. I'm good with that being a +3 overall to your charisma check. Whoever who's gonna make this check.
What about Gregor's charisma? How is Gregor's charisma?
Yeah, Gregor should probably make the check because he seems to be he's the most interested. Yeah, I just tell him we could have left him behind when he was stoned, and we prioritized him, and we have to prioritize Mithra. and we stick together, and we'll stick together with him for whatever challenges he faces in the future if he sticks with us.
Oh,
We left
no
the
way.
boat completely unprepared.
That's crazy.
Use that.
All we heard is you left me.
You have 4 astonishing fortune.
Yeah, use
Oh.
one.
Yeah, I'll use one.
Hey, I don't want to lose you.
There you
Hey.
go. There you go. So
Barely.
Gregor has used the wisdom of Seharn, the intelligence of Kurza, and their own charisma to try to convince Baden to go with you. And I think it's effective to the point that you see he turns back and he says, "You must promise me that you will return to this place with me."
I
On the
can do
word
that.
of my God, I will come with you.
Then
We
I will
have our word.
then I will join
Yep.
you.
All right.
All right. Well done. I think that was a great way to try to mend that bridge. Sounds like the party is going to make a beeline for the Underdark. Is that the plan then?
Yes.
All right. What is your marching order?
I suppose Nod is going first with the Sting guy.
Okay.
Renwick should probably go first. He knows the way at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's leading us through the Underdark.
Yep. So let's just move everybody over. I'll
Maybe
move.
Nod should go
Take the
take the rear instead, and then some version thereof.
Here, I'll stick my. Oh,
I was kind of teeing you up. If you line up next to him,
that's what I was trying.
yeah. I'll move you guys over here. Hopefully, I'm moving
Oh,
the right people.
yeah. Do we have any of those? Do we have some magical longswords?
I know I have 2 magical plus 1 long swords, and we have the one we picked up from the
Yeah.
2 plus 1 were from the Madar, and the one we don't know what it is yet.
So Harn would like to start talking and learning perhaps a new weapon type for land, realizing being out of the water, I might have to adapt myself to heavier armor and a different weapon style. Eventually on the way, I would like to learn maybe how to use a weapon like a longsword and adapt into something like chain or armor
Yeah.
as
So
we move in life.
I think one of the ways I'd like to play that, since you guys do a lot of, let's say, travel away from civilization, I think training could become something that you can cross train within the group. So if you guys want to, during camp every night, allot an activity to like learning that skill for a period of time, I'm cool with someone teaching you that and you guys making proficiency checks to see if you're able to learn it and teach it.
Yeah.
If you have the
I have a slot.
and if someone else has the skill you want, I'm totally fine with that becoming like something you can do within the group dynamic instead of going somewhere to pay someone 100 gold per the book. Yeah.
No, I have a weapon slot open, and then I'm just saying by experience, I would think heavy armor seems prudent on land, as I don't have the maneuverability and freedom you do in a 3-dimensional water space. Protection.
Can your specialty priest class, can you use that weapon and armor? I'm just curious.
I don't think Volker would have anything against that. I don't believe there are any.
Okay.
They
Based
use
Some of
tridents,
on
for
that.
example.
Some of them are really specific.
Yeah, I'm not really a specialty kind of priest, though. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
a generic
I wasn't
cleric, and I do use pointed weapons. That is allowed.
sure. I guess it comes down to whether Quig or Liak know longswords, because I don't think anyone present.
Nod has long swords.
Oh, then Nod could teach Gregor and Sahar.
Excellent.
All
We have the
lesson
extra
number 1,
weapons.
Take him with the pointy end.
All right, let me see if I got the map ready here. Just 1 second.
All right, lesson number 2. Aim for the weak head, the eyes, the throat, the gut, their heart,
Under the arms.
under the arms, and kinks in armor. They're all
Oh, yeah.
kinds of spots. And he might go into more detail about some of the more gruesome ways to kill things. His shadow thief background kind of coming out
All right.
and in the dark.
So now we gotta look out for his piecemeal out some heavier armor together off of whatever we find from this way on out.
All right. I think you've got. We're not gonna do the dex checks again here for that. You're back across. You've made it to your opening here where Renwick will lead you, and Baden will reluctantly follow, but with your promise, he's loyal to the fact that you'll return with him. So, as much as it irks him, he will move forward and follow you into the further darkness. The entrance to the cave here is pretty flat and level. As you're kind of walking for a while behind Renwick, you start to see him. He will walk along the walls typically with one hand up along the wall above his head, and he's feeling for water on the wall, and that's one of the ways that he's able to remember some of the places to turn. And so he's, talking to you, Nod, more than anybody about how he navigates, since you're pretty good at this as well, and pointing out to you when he starts to see certain points where the water is more apparent, that you're starting to get deeper, and you can feel yourself going down over the course of what feels like several miles in this now what has become a pretty wet and dark cavern with a lot of jagged looking rocks and stalactites and stalagmites looking like teeth, and a few columns being formed. There's moss that you see on the ground as well, because it is pretty wet. And, sound-wise, you can hear echoes of water drops throughout the cavern. And every once in a while, you'll hear rustling and sounds. You've seen now a couple of centipedes and lizards and things that scatter, small things that sort of scatter from behind some of the foliage that you're now starting to see, moss and mushrooms and things like that in some of these open caves. But it actually closes down and gets to a really thin point and brings you out into a opening where Renwick climbs up down through this hole and points down and leads you guys down to this area. And so he says, this water will be fresh, but the other pools down here are not. And you see him go up to the water's edge and lean down with his cup and fill his cup and drink it. So he's like taking a break here as well.
So if we have water to refill, this is a place to do it.
This water is safe.
Mahar's gonna smell and if this water is safe, I'm gonna drop everything and immerse myself in it. Enjoy. I need to hydrate. It's been a few days.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Other than it being very frigid, it feels wonderful. It definitely would get your heart rate going and would feel wonderful replenishing your skin with water.
Not a problem for me. The ocean is a cold, dark place too, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right by me. I'm happy.
And this water is is fresh, absolutely clean, crystal clear. You can see into this area when you're laying in the water and in and around. It's pretty dark though overall. It's obviously, this is where I need to double check who's carrying what in terms of light. I know there are several of you. The two elves can see in the dark. I think Nod can see in the dark, and maybe Gregor's the only human. Is Gregor human?
Gregor's human.
Okay, so Gregor has, what do you think? Is it a torch?
Didn't we have a continual light on something we were treacherous?
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Treacherous sword.
A mithril sword, yeah.
I know Bard had a continual copper coin or something like that. Or
I can cast it. Yeah, I can also cast it one if we need. But I thought we already had that.
Gregor, yeah, as long as Gregor
Torches
has
if people
a
need it.
solution. I think Gregor and Baden are the only two that don't have natural infravision.
Yeah,
maybe
actually,
some fire.
you would Jamie, you had said that I was eligible for proficiencies when I leveled up. It would make sense that in Mithra, I did do some training with Gregor that he would be able to use a sword. So maybe he could use a Mithra's short sword. For light and...
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I'm also gonna have Baden carry light here, because that way you'll know where he's at, and...
I'm going to go ahead and add. We did have extra long swords, right? So I can
Yes,
add
I
one.
have 2.
Alright.
Yeah, you can take one.
I'll
Longsword
take
plus
one. Okay. And if I decide to break this out in clumsiness, Jamie, I totally accept you putting minus as a novice sword user, just for comic relief and see what happens. But yeah, thank you. I'll take the sword.
Alright.
Long sword, right?
A longsword plus 1.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Alright, so this is where... Does anybody have anything else they want to roleplay or take care of?
Yeah, say at this point, Non might step out of the shadows and come walk up to Gregor and hand him the other longsword. It's best you start getting used to the grip if you want to get better with it.
What's the damage on that without me looking it up? Because it's been a long time.
It
Longsword?
is 1 die 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 die 8
1
for
die 8.
small or 1 die 12 for large.
Thank you. Once I become proficient in that, I'll actually increase my damage potential beyond my normal. That's good.
Maybe just a little cautious with germs and everything. He might just pull out the continual water cup and take a sip out of that. From Sahar
Sure.
just swimming and bathing in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, you
No,
can...
no
Sorry.
pee joke here.
Let me have you all do a wisdom check while you're hanging out here.
What are you up to, DM Jamie? If it matters, that's straight rolling, no bonus applied.
Alright, so I think after a while, as you're all looking around, maybe some of you are drinking, some of you are just looking around, and so you're looking at different things, and Gregor actually is the first one who notices some inscriptions on the wall, and starts to notice that there's actually several spots over here where it looks like someone has carved words into the wall. So Gregor would be the first to see this, and some of the writing that you are seeing, Gregor, I don't know your languages, but it definitely looks like ancient Dwarven, some of it. And then other bits of it don't look Dwarven at all to you. But what languages do you speak?
Where's that at?
Let's
Oh,
see.
I speak Dwarven,
Okay.
Common, and Gnome.
Okay. So yeah, you think that it's definitely ancient Dwarven, one of the writings, and you can't quite piece together what the saying is, but it's like it looks like it's like somebody scrawled like something on the wall, and it's been preserved here for a very long time. And there's other writing on the wall that looks newer, and looks like it's in a different writing, different language to you. You're the first one to
hey,
see this.
Look at this. There's some writing here, and this one I think is ancient Dwarven. I can't make it out.
I can read ancient Dwarven, so I'll go over and look, see what's there. See what's written. Let's see what it reads.
Okay, so you find one group. Actually, as you're going over to look at the writing that's in front of Gregor, you notice some of the other writing right away because it's Elven. And so you see this combination of there being some Elven writing and Dwarven writing scrawled on this wall. And
Which was newer.
the Elven writing looks like it's newer, definitely, and it's not ancient Elven. It looks like it's like a more modern Elven to you.
Okay.
So the ancient Dwarven script says, "Beware, death awaits, the darkness hungers," and that's written in ancient Dwarven. And then where's the other text? The Elven texts read. It actually is a little bit more specific. It says, where is it? Hang on a second.
So beware the darkness hungers. I'll read it aloud.
You shouldn't be afraid of the shadows.
Here we go. It's this in the Elven script. It
Wolves
says
shouldn't be afraid of shadows either, but
the Elven says, "Beyond the twilight path, only shadows remain. Beware the ancient power, for it hungers in the dark."
All rock, run.
I'll write that one down.
And okay, let me.
Repeat it again.
Beyond the twilight path, only shadows remain. Beware the ancient power, for it hungers in the dark.
Okay. An ancient power hungering in the dark. Along a twilight path.
And Renwick kind of at this point has washed his face off and walks over to see everybody huddled around the writing as you're copying down what it says even. And he says, see you found our welcome sign. And he says, I will do my best to steer you clear of those threats. This is a way to find the Dark Elves. If someone wanted to do such a thing, I know not why. We will avoid this.
It almost seems as if both messages are indicating the same threat of those dark elves, maybe?
Yeah.
There are more powerful things than elves here. And it is probably better now that I tell you than later. There is a beast with many eyes that wanders these caverns. Where we are heading, we will need to be very stealthy. I will need everybody to follow my lead to avoid its gaze.
Does it have a lot of heads, eyes on stalks
Yes,
and float around?
you know of it then. So I don't need to
I
warn
have
you.
only heard horrible stories of it. I have never experienced it and don't wish to.
Those things are real? I thought those were just fairy tales that parents told their kids to make them be good.
Oh,
Fortunately, my friends, the dark elves are real.
Yes.
They are something to be feared. Deal with them.
I will not utter his name, but he points over and there's another piece of writing that for any of you who actually speak Gnomish, or then you can read that this is actually another area that's written in Gnomish, and it says Watcher of Shadow, and it says Zizanor, and I'll type that in here so you have that, but he says, this is the name I would not utter. And he points at the writing on the wall. Beware of him. But
That's one of the languages I can't read is Gnomish. Sorry to say.
I can read it. Does it have any weaknesses if we fail to evade it?
weaknesses, if I knew those, I'd forgotten them, but I think the best weakness is to avoid it altogether. He has a lot of minions as well. We will avoid them as well. Trust no one you speak to, for chances are he has corrupted them, or more likely threatened them and put them in a position where they are loyal to him. Just be aware of that and keep your head down. Follow me. We'll be fine.
I'm noisy in plate mail, and we're carrying all this stuff. Maybe we should do a two-tiered scout. We have Renwick scout far ahead, Nod in the medium, and then we move really slowly. Like Renwick signals to Nod, Nod signals to us.
Yeah, and even then you're still really loud, so I think that is a good question about, is there any way that you all can make the group move more quietly, perhaps? Is there anything that could be done to do that? Because that will follow whoever's in that group of people. That noise is going to follow them, so any thoughts?
I don't think I have any spells that would help.
Let me look.
Maybe Saharn can use silence. I believe
Looking.
Bruce can.
Yeah, I'm looking at Baden's spellbook too, to see if he has any solution for that.
I think it's a second level. I think it is.
I am looking, sir, and I balance 15-foot radius. completely verbal somatic. You are correct.
I have some spider climb and darkness.
Hmm. So that's the other thing that he warns of is now the light that you're all carrying will become a deal breaker in certain parts of the cavern. Finding a way to be able to move in the dark, I think for those of you that can't see, maybe you're going to hold on to somebody or follow really closely to another person, because even like the dimmest light in some of these places, when he says, is going to become a problem. So those are some of the other things that you all would be planning for.
I think if we pair up, for example, one goes with Non, one goes with Sahar, and one goes with Kurza, one goes with Unwick, we all can hold hands per se.
Can Baden see in the dark?
No, he does not have. He does not have
That ability.
anything like to help him. I'm looking at his, and also he doesn't have anything really to help make the group stealthy. He's got a lot of things to help in combat though. So
Yeah.
Who all can see in the dark? Wig and Eliac? Can they see in the dark? Or no?
no, they're both human.
Okay, so there's 4 of us that can't.
Yeah.
I think if we each pair up with Infravision or Elf, we'll be fine. Like the Dark Gnome can see in the dark, the 2 elves can see in the dark, and not can see in the dark.
Let's move it that way then. So whoever has Infravision, pick someone that doesn't, and keep them and their token with you as you move, just so that I know who's helping each other as you move through here. But Renwick will lead.
Like me and Baden.
Renwick could lead, and who else needs it? Let's see. You've got the 2 pirates that need to be paired up. You do it like that, like the way we have it here.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I can't see the map if there's something going on.
I can't
It's
see
like
it either.
in the top middle.
Oh, you can't
Top
see
middle.
it? Let's see.
Oh, that could be it. Hold on, let me move.
I see a tiny little lighted portion. That's all.
You need to
it's more
zoom
to
in
the
and
right.
drag.
Oh, it's far right. And
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, look at there we go.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have pinged where I dropped you all.
No, we're good.
Alright, so yeah, so this is the water where you were drinking from, and the wall where you read the inscriptions. And it sounds like you guys are going to pair up, kind of kill the artificial light, and just follow and trust those around you that can see what they're doing. So
And we'll probably end up moving really slow if we have to do it that way. But so if that's the only way we can do it, that's the only way we can do it.
yeah,
Which passage are we moving down?
we're headed south, sir.
That's one.
Moving
What?
us like this. There's a ledge basically down on this southern corner of this area. Renwick will point to a ledge that you'll have to traverse to follow, that follows the water, and then there's a point where the gap closes enough that you can jump over the water. So that's going to be something that everybody will have to try to leap over, and in the meantime you just have to shimmy against this wall and follow the gnome. So he begins down, and at this point he's turned from less serious to more serious. He looks like he's locked in, just heading in that direction. So
How far is this ledge above the water then? To jump over? Or...
It's like maybe a foot down to the water.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so he gets down to here. I'll move y'all down to this point. And this is where I'll have you all make your dexterity checks. Actually, jumping is a strength-based check. If you're trying to jump really far, right? But in this case, it's not that it's really far.
It's so bad.
Yeah, in this case, it's not that it's really far. It's just more that you don't want to fall in the water. It's not a far jump. Maybe it's a far jump for Renwick, but for the rest of you, it's not a super far jump that you would have to use all your might and strength to get across. I think dexterity would be a more preferred way to do it.
That's good. I have much higher score than that.
Nice, nice. Alright, so people are making it across. Better check on our... Okay, alright.
I wouldn't be upset if I fell in anyway, right? Unless
No, not really. You've already been in this water, technically. And... Alright, so you guys all make
I
it
guess
across.
that's good enough, even though I'm in play mail. Succeed by 4.
Yeah, you're good. You're being human helps here too, being tall. Making it across isn't too big of an issue, but of course it is loud. When you jump across, it makes quite a racket. And Renwick's kind of sitting up front at this point, leaning against the wall, watching as you're all jumping across, but he's also looking ahead and trying to get a sense of how loud it is. And he feels like you should all sit still for a while after making that much noise to see if it's stirred anything. So you guys can go ahead and roll wisdom checks. Okay.
Well, I don't notice nothing.
Everyone but Kurza, you think you hear movement in deeper down in the caves ahead of you, like as if something large has moved and it echoes down the cave, but it's deep. It's like a deep sound. So it goes away. So it gives you a little bit of maybe a pit in your stomach of the fact that there are things here that are listening to you, not just waiting for you. And so it's definitely something now that maybe you're going to want to deal with Gregor's gear, and anyone else for that matter that's not able to move silently. You're going to have to move a little bit slower to stay, so that you're not creating so much noise that it's affecting the thieves in front of you, or the thief in front of you, I should say. So you'll have to maintain some distance, is my point, and he's getting to that point where he's a little further ahead and a little further ahead because he's worried that the noise behind him might give him away before he can give you a safe green light. So
What about if he drags a rope and we use that as the guide, those of us who can't see?
I think that you'd have to keep the rope pretty taut, because otherwise it's rocky and it would just drag around things on the ground and ragged stuff. If you were walking really
Create more
close, then
noise.
it might work.
we're still going in darkness.
Yeah, you're using your infravision.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're using infravision. That's when you get to this. You continue to follow him through the cavern, and you reach an area where there are some like large steps that look like they've been carved in to the cavern, which is like the first sign that you've seen here in a minute that there's like somebody that's trying to make this a passable cavern. And you make your way up. You can see Renwick sitting at the top here, and he kind of is looking around, holding his hand up, and then he waves you forward, like when he feels that it's okay. And so he waves you forward, and as you're looking up at him and climbing up towards him, you start like a faint glow on Renwick, and when you make your way to the top of this, and everybody can move themselves up to the top of this, you see a open cavern area where there are some bioluminescent fungi, and basically like this kind of light purplish hue that's being emitted from these mushrooms in this area. And he says these are nightshade mushrooms, and they are safe to touch but not eat. And you can walk amongst them, like you can walk around it. It's almost like this little mushroom forest where there's like paths that you can walk through in and around the area. And so he's looking at the ground and looking for tracks in this area to see if anything has passed. Anybody else doing anything here?
What did he say about the shade mushrooms? I'm sorry, I was writing something down.
He said that they're okay to touch, but you wouldn't want to eat them.
Okay.
In other words, they won't release spores on you or cause you any issues when disturbed, but if eaten, it wouldn't be good. Not a food source, but otherwise useful. You pull one from the ground, he says, its glow will last for several days. And it might be a better way for us to watch our path. It's a dimmer light. Your eyes will adjust. But it's better than the light you were carrying. He picks a couple and hands them to Quig and Eliac, and if anyone else wants to get some, he kind of points.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah, Baden should have one.
Okay.
A dim purplish glow?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. At least we'll be able to marginally see where they're putting their feet at the very least.
And at this point, it's going to help those of you who were stumbling through the dark, having to hold the person in front of you, to now being able
Right.
to manage it a little bit more on your own. Let's see. Anyone else have anything else they want to do in this area?
Nod would try
No.
to convince Harnigans that this might be the time to go ahead and keep us quiet. It's better to move on safely and quietly than it would be to let ourselves to be known what else could be in here.
The protection will only last a few minutes, my friend. It's not long lasting. Are you sure? We should not save this.
You might be right.
Renwick,
Basically, out of character, it's 2 rounds per level, so we got 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's no point in using it here. We're just going to keep on moving.
Alright, so he pauses here. Again, he was looking to see if there were any tracks and isn't really finding any signs of new threat or anything like that, but he's contemplating what the best path forward is, and you see him talking to himself a little bit. Would they make it? I don't know. And take the safe way or the long way? He looks like he's struggling now figuring out the logistics for this large of a group, and especially since everyone's so much bigger than him, it's starting to dawn on him how much more difficult this is than he originally thought it would be. Not the most
whisper
encouraging.
The safer route.
The safer route, then.
Agreed.
It may be longer, but
Well, considering what we're carrying and the bulk we have with us, the Harn would also advocate take the slower, safer route and
Yeah.
pray. Quiet and pray.
Okay, very well. Then we will go north, and he will lead you across through the mushroom field here and into this deeper cavern in the north here. He says, "Follow me, friends. Be aware, this next pool is not one for swimming or drinking." And he leads you to this area here where you see a larger body of water that separates you from the other side. And when you look across here, you can see that there's some plant life. You can see that the water looks clear to you, but it has a odor of sulfur in the air near it. And he says that this would be the safer way with as many of us as there are. And he at that point will come across to it looks like there's like a broken dock over here, and he will grab all his gear that he has that's loose and stuff it in his bag and hold his bag above his head and walk into the water. And it gets to the point where it's pretty much up to his neck, and he continues to walk all the way across it with his backpack and belongings on his back until finally he comes up on the other side, and you see him standing on the other side with his bag over his head, and he's like shaking off the water.
And how tall is he? Because I'm fairly short.
He's shorter than you. He's under
We're
4
good.
foot. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not much shorter than I am, but yeah, okay, good.
Oh hell, we have to get wet. We're gonna be even colder. I like follow his lead and put our stuff in a bag over our head.
And walk across. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing that happens is, for the one big difference between you and him is the weight. And as you're starting to walk on the muddy ground, it's starting to sink your boots into it a little bit, and what should have only been waist deep for Gregor starts to become over your waist, and gets a little bit difficult to walk. So everyone will have to do strength checks to try to get themselves pulled out of the water without it holding you in there. And if you make your strength check, the people on the other side can help you across once you've reached that square.
Hey, how far is it across?
I need to
It's
make
like-
that strength check.
It's 15 to 20 feet in that range, depending on what section you pick.
So
Yeah,
Harn
we're
is just,
light.
Because I think
Probably.
these are 10 foot, yeah.
yep, rather than walk across,
There you go.
I think Saharn is just gonna take a deep breath and dive and do a constant exhale out of his nose to avoid sucking in this water. Instead of walking, I'm just gonna swim it. So that's my plan. Get across that, hopefully lickety split, and hopefully be safe unless
I think that it's more the immersion of your gear that you would be worried about there.
I don't have a carry a lot. I'm a minimalist. I pretty much have my armor, my weapons, my holy symbol. We did have some rations of food. That might.
That
Oil.
wouldn't, yeah, that wouldn't do
But-
well.
I'm not afraid to lose that either because I can create food and water. We have the moss, the only thing. We'll see what happened to it.
Okay.
It's rolled up in a pouch.
Yeah, so you can do it either
You
way.
can always hand it off to one of us.
Yeah, you can hand your gear off and and then just swim over. I'm fine with that, but for anybody who's walking, you're gonna need to strength check it. I think Gregor made it.
If I need to do a strength check, I'm fairly light and not too much in the way of heavy equipment.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of you who are taller than 5 foot.
We do have rope. We could also, those of us who are across, could like
There you go.
toss a rope, and you can maybe hold on to your baggage above your head with one hand, wrap that rope around your other hand, and we can help pull you if that will keep you sinking into the mud. or
Oh,
getting
man.
stuck.
You're gonna need to do that for your. You're gonna need to do that for your pirates because they both failed their strength checks, so they're getting stuck in the mud literally, and probably because they're carrying chests full of your loot. So they're having a very difficult time carrying that right now.
Could I just jump across? Can I try to do it, I guess,
Yeah,
relatively quietly? So can I do strength and then what, dex, just to land it safely?
there's actually I think a jump. There's a jump non-weapon proficiency, and I think it's strength based. So making it by 17, I think you're good. You're gonna clear it. It doesn't matter if fall when you land so much in this case.
Well, just
Thankfully.
more so just
Yeah.
trying to do it quietly because
Yeah,
landing with a lot of weight, because Nod is
yeah.
probably carrying over 500 pounds on himself.
That's
he,
true.
He might sink into them.
That's true. That's true. You would have the hardest time. So doing a broad jump would be the best way. So yeah, I think you're able to pull it off as quietly as possible.
Nod is
but-
500 pounds, plus he's carrying like 400 pounds. So
Yeah. All right. Baden is across. It's just these two guys that basically you're going to be helping across, and I don't know why his thing is messed up like that. Oh, all right. They're having a problem getting across here.
if they can make it about halfway, maybe we can use a stick.
Made
or
my
something
previous
to
roll
help.
to get across, but I'm not going to be able to help them.
How about
Other than a
let's-
rope and
let's do this. I'm gonna have you do a strength check for these guys, and I'll have one of you guys roll these. Who would like to do the one for Quig? Quig is the one on top.
I can try that.
Okay, so if you just want to roll a d20, so he would be all right, and he hasn't dropped anything. Okay, he's still in the
Don't lose
water,
your boot.
but yeah, someone else makes a strength
really-
check for the other one.
Now I can do it, but that wouldn't be fair.
What I do
Well,
is
this is
I've been
this is
rolling a
their
lot of
strength.
ones.
This is their strength, not your strength.
Okay, I got.
So you can
eight
just roll
against
a
this,
strength
so-
check if you want, and then, yeah. Okay,
That's
all right.
really-
So they haven't dropped the chests. They haven't dropped your chests into the water, which I tried to take them. I tried.
Excuse me, I gotta go clear my throat. I'll be right back.
But they're able to make their way across now, and they don't drop these. So it just takes some work from the group, and a lot more
What
work
about-
than what you thought.
What about a Mithra? Is the stretcher, does it float or?
That's a great point. Who would be carrying a Mithra? Probably
I'll
Gregor.
take her.
I would have thought maybe Gregor
yeah.
would have, in a very important setting like this one, he would probably be the one. I'm fine with that. She's across, yeah. All right, so you've made your way across here. I think I was actually gonna pause here for our mid-session break, and looks like Wayne needs a mid-session break too. So how about we take 10 minutes or so, and we'll come back and pick up right here on the other side of the water.
Sounds good.
All right,
Sounds
cool.
good, yep.
We must break. All right. PK, do you, Jamie? See about that. How long ago did we first think over at Kevin's channel? A couple of years, at least.
It was 2020 is when I was like,
Wow,
yeah, 2020.
that long?
Yeah, 2020 is when I was like watching his channel pretty much the entire year. I don't know that I missed many games. 2020, that might have been like pre-Night Below.
Might have been.
Yeah, but he was playing AD&D Second Edition on his channel and other games. I don't know, he was playing all kinds of stuff, but
Goodness. How long have I been watching that silly channel?
I
At
don't know
least-
when the first time I watched it was, but that's what I thought it was in 2020.
Might have been. You remember Tim was there too.
Yeah.
Wow, what campaign is hard to come by.
Yeah, I started after that time, I think, because they were playing that winter campaign.
Mhm.
Rime of the Frostmaid?
Yeah. And that's the one I started watching.
It's a great campaign, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I have one dislike to the whole ending of that thing, but otherwise it's a great story arc. That's the one with the mechanical dragon, is that right? The Icewind Dale thing? Or am I thinking of the wrong thing?
I don't know. I never got to the end of it. Because I lost track around episode 60 or something like that. Or 80. So I think I got at least as far as 72.
Wow.
All right,
I don't have quite as
Bra-
much time anymore.
is Brandon back?
Apparently he died
Yeah.
to the youth.
No, I'm the same way, Chris. I haven't been able to keep up, but at that time I had so much time on my hands. I was watching everything I could.
I previously played what's the other campaign you're running? The Kingdom.
Kingmaker?
Yeah, I previously played Kingmaker in Greyhawk. And I was following his and lost track of it. So I figured I'd just follow your group. But haven't had time to do that either.
Did Kevin actually wasn't that all part of his Night Below? Didn't he incorporate all that stuff together? Frostmaiden stuff? Or am I thinking wrong?
I don't know. I really loved playing Kingmaker though, because we got to the very end at like level 20.
Really?
Yeah, there was we had a whole fight scene in the King's Chamber there, and that was great fun. I had a 20th level monk.
Oh
There
man,
was
that sounds like a lot of
the-
fun.
Different
Oh, yeah.
styles of D&D, but I have never played anything above 15th level. It's the highest level character I personally have ever got.
Hmm.
And we don't do that because he's almost godlike now with his magic items. Then it becomes less fun for me. As
Yeah.
a DM, I do things very slow. Progression is not a big thing in my world. It's more about personal gain for the character within the world rather than what level he may attain to the player's liking, if that makes sense. Because if Joe Average Guy, even at 6th level, you're far more powerful than almost everybody in the world around you.
Yeah, there's a point where there's a tipping point where the game it becomes a different game, which is why they have things like Kingmaker and other layers to the game that they try to use to delay the inevitable. Because once you have a hero that's at that point where it's exponential, the things they can do, yeah, to give that same person a similar challenge to what they were facing before, it's difficult to scale. So it's
Yeah,
doable,
'cause-
but it's just everything becomes epic in nature. You know what I mean?
oh
Everything.
yeah,
You're like world-changing events, like just absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
But
it worked. We almost lost. But
Ah,
I'm standing with a bunch of the other people in the King's Chamber there, and he's got a second tier of the entire thing lined with archers. And they all, every last one of them fires at me as the monk. And I think we're playing Pathfinder 1 for Kingmaker and Greyhawk, and
um,
only 2 of them hit.
yeah.
And I had a feat to bat one arrow away and a different feat to grab the other one. So I just grabbed that one, broke it, and laughed at them, and that made them angry.
Let's hop back in. I think everybody's back, and I'd like to start out with a spell save from everyone, please.
Save.
A spell
hell.
save versus spell.
Why, damn,
Save versus-
Jimmy,
Oh, you bastard.
why you do this to it? I get +3 on mind control, if that matters. Does that apply, sir?
Well, say that again.
+3 for if it's a mind type of attack,
No, it's not an attack. It's not an attack.
or a mind effect. Okay, but straight up 12.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you. I got you. And it's +3 if it's mind.
Yes, so
Gotcha.
that's without the bonus. Take
Okay.
it from there.
All right.
Kill me if you will, sir.
Oh, no, you're actually saved by that. Gregor, you start to get a headache as when you cross the water. It's like your ears start ringing, and you start to get this headache, and it just starts coming on really strong, like to the point where you've got to keep your eyes closed. Not that you can see anything anyway in here, but it's your head is hurting, and you just feel like not confused, but you feel like your mind is like exhausted.
Hey folks, I'm not feeling so good. Does everyone hear that ringing?
And
Nothing.
let me
I always hear ringing.
let me have if you guys could roll for your pirates save versus spell as well.
You
Wait,
all roll.
And then
I'm scarfing.
All right.
does
Oh,
somebody have any healing spell, a proficiency in some kind of diagnostics?
that sounds like a mage thing to me. I'll roll a D20 for a pirate then.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So he's feeling fine.
I am so lucky on these
And-
ones on these things tonight. That's the 4th one, I think. Or
Yeah, you've had several. Does
amazing.
anyone want to roll for the other, or did I miss it?
No one rolled.
Yeah, someone else roll a d20, and we'll take that as the second pirate.
11, apparently.
Oh, okay, this is a fail. I'm sorry, those are both fails. Both Quig and what's the other guy's name? Efrain, I think, or something like that. I forget. Iliac, that's right, Iliac. Both of them mimic what Gregor is feeling, and they to the point that they set down everything they're carrying, and they're stopped, like holding their eyes and their forehead, pinching their forehead. Renwick, after a moment, starts to get like a look, and he says, "I'm wondering if something is invading your thoughts. It is possible.
Well, that's not good.
So
How do I stop it? How do I stop this?
they must know we're here. Do you hear anything?" And
Just ringing.
yeah, and Quig, as he hears that question, and he says, "They won't leave me alone. They won't leave me alone." And he just looks distraught, Quig does. And he says, "You are they." And he just looks, again, it doesn't look like he's feeling well. And neither is the other, but he's holding it together so far. He just basically, in this case, Renwick will look at Gregor when you ask the question of how to make it stop. And he says, the only way I know is to move away. But our way is in.
So maybe if we go a little faster?
There is, there are,
Or what?
there are some things we can do to try to prevent it, but I don't have them with me. There's a plant that we could find, but he looks at Beta and he says, "Do you have anything that can help them with this?" And Beta looks, is thinking, talking with Renwick for a second about, what his ideas are about what this could be, and he gives this look to Renwick. "No, they are here." And he says, "Of course they are."
It's here.
He says, "Steal your mind, friends. Keep your thoughts secure. Do not give them what they want if they speak with you." And with that, the affected ones, who I'll just mark right now, are just slowed, essentially, right now. And they won't be able to carry anything but themselves. Someone else is going to have to move the chests or carry the chests if you intend to bring them further.
Oh, none of the mender's weed or arrowhead thorn or virtus flower or sea moss would help any of them.
I'm afraid not.
That would be
I'm afraid not.
And someone has to carry a Mirthra. I can't go on like this.
Yeah. So I think everyone's probably wondering how much more Nod can carry. He can carry still quite a bit, but I know he's got a lot going on. So what are your thoughts?
I think he can carry all the chest. I think he can carry all the chests, the weight, but he won't be able to do a Mithra as well and move. Would be encumbered at that point.
But
He's
what is
getting pretty
causing this?
close.
What's causing this? You guys know what's happening, so you must know what's causing it.
It could be a couple of things, and we're afraid that it's either the Beholder or, more sinister, could be a Mind Flayer.
Joy.
Either way, they are.
I could carry one more chest. One more chest. Sorry.
They're fine. They are.
How do we shield ourselves from it?
They are detecting our thoughts. We need to eat iron root, but it lies ahead. So we must move forward in order to, or go backward and.
Gonna pull out one of the iron ingots and show them, and
I know not how we would extract that, but I do know that iron root lies ahead.
Just lick some iron. There you go.
Good thing we have
We-
iron.
see, Nod's convinced he would actually lick the iron.
How heavy is a Mithra?
She doesn't have her armor and stuff. It's just like her, and I'm guessing you wrapped her up, so she's not just like hanging there with her arms flailing around. Like, I'm guessing
Right.
she's bundled up, and I don't know. What do you think? Like, she's
man.
6 foot, right?
I think, yeah, she's
tall.
5'11".
Or so she's probably at least 150 to 175 pounds with all of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could
So
even
Nod
move
could
with
take
that.
one of the chests or a Mithra.
I'd volunteer to carry her over my shoulder if my little average 9 strength could carry her body. I think it's probably doable.
Do you have a spell that can create strength, either of you? Any of you?
Let's see.
I have a strength of 11 that would be better than Saharan's, probably.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me.
if you go to your attributes, it tells you your weight allowance, how much you can actually carry.
40? I think
Griff's
that's...
would be.
That's
I know right at the end of 2nd edition, they added bull strength before 3rd edition, which it featured in. But I think it's a pre-spell. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Baden has, I mean, he has haste, which would maybe offset the effect to an extent.
No levitate or anything like that.
All right,
This-
technically he could carry more, but again, he's just encumbered. So if we really needed to, we really
Gotcha.
wanted, he could
Yeah.
carry a Mithra and a chest.
So you're slowed anyway, like your whole group is slowed anyway, so the fact that you're slowed doesn't matter much. So Renwick says, I will make my way towards the iron route. It lies ahead. Go straight and meet me at the logs. And he'll head out into this area. Oops. Where is he? And he heads off. So he tells you to go straight and meet him. And so what's your marching order now? Is it gonna be Nod?
I don't think Nod should go first in this scenario. His hands are full with 2 chests in one arm, a Mithra in the other
Okay.
arm,
Baden
not including his pockets full.
Baden can lead this part, and so Baden will know he's not carrying anything extra, so he's gonna walk out here into the open area, and that as he steps out there, that there are these mushrooms in this large chamber that are huge and colorful, and they're almost as tall as he is and as you are. As you come into the room, some of them are mixed below are some of the ones that you have, and they're larger, but they're similar to the ones that you're holding and carrying as well. So it is lit to some extent in here by those, but the larger ones, as you're walking by, they all have different textures and look like they might be different types of mushrooms. So it's probably like the most variety of mushrooms that you've ever seen in one place, and they're huge in nature. So it's like almost like a forest, like an underground forest in here. And Baden makes his way across, and you guys can follow him across the way here.
Which mushrooms are similar? I didn't catch that part.
There, some of the mushrooms that you picked earlier that glow are present in here as well, so it's lit.
Oh, the nightshade. Okay.
The nightshade, yeah. All right, so you guys make your way down to this corner here, and Baden waves you on, and you see a log laying on the ground and actual tree stumps there as well. And so Baden, seeing the log, he stops here, and you guys are gonna wait for a second while Renwick's finding the iron root. And I'm gonna have you guys roll wisdom checks, please.
No.
Yeah,
Uh,
anyone who passes might see Nod actually breaking a sweat at this point.
no, again, this is without bonus applied.
Yeah, probably the first time you've seen Nod slowed. All right, so I think, all right, for Nod and Gregor, go ahead and make savings throws versus spell, please. Again. All right.
Can I use a?
Sure.
I'm worried about this. Oh.
So I think it was a good move to try to re-roll that. I think in this situation now, Gregor, your headache is so severe and it feels like it's just incapacitating when suddenly all of the pain you're feeling in your head just goes away, and you hear a voice clear as day in your mind. And the voice says, "Venture further and I'll make you a deal."
Interesting. What sort of deal? I say in my mind.
Yeah, I think that, you can hear like
Or maybe I say it aloud, so everyone hears.
and you'll hear it again. It will say to you, it will say, "One that benefits all of us, of course. But step further. We will meet soon." And at that point, Gregor, you feel like all of these memories come flooding through your mind of places you've been, people you've met, where you've been, and most recently, like just all the way up until like where you're standing right now, it just feels like your entire mind has been exposed, and all these thoughts have rushed through your brain in this moment, and you feel like that whatever was going on with your mind, whatever fight or whatever was going on, you've now given up your knowledge to something. Something knows what. So there'd be like, I think, like a realization of that right now, that something has
Okay, so I
invaded
look
your
at
thoughts.
everyone really cagily.
Who you talking to?
Talking to. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I
what do
didn't.
you want about
I'm
that?
not. I'm really tired.
Making a deal with.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, it was nothing.
Crazy one, this lad, isn't he?
And I think that
I'll have to keep an eye on Gregor.
and I won't even make you do a roll for this, but I think that you would all notice that Gregor would have some tears in his eyes as he's saying this, not even so much of because of what happened, but because of the flood of emotion that he just had going through all of his memory. And you look over and Quig and Iliac, and they similarly look like they're like in tears. So I think like it becomes apparent, and Baden looks concerned when he sees all of them and what that might mean. So he's come close. We must stick together. And where's the damn gnome?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I move all you guys in there. You guys are waiting, hanging out by the log for a minute. Does anybody have anything they want to try to do here?
What's down
gonna-
each hallway?
At this point, Nod would probably set down the chest, the Amithra, and set her next to the chest because she's important too. And he would probably start looking around. Which direction did Renwick run off to?
When you were out in the mushroom forest, he went to the west. But he told you to go south and wait at the log. It's been a few minutes. I'm just giving you a chance if there's anything you wanted to do. You're not overly concerned, but at the same time, you don't see him.
Pure curiosity, he would step closer to the mushroom forest and maybe just gander through see what he sees.
I'm gonna sidle over to Quig. Is this Quig? He's the one that had the tears in his eyes too.
Yeah, both of
And
them.
try and whisper to him and say, "You hear it too, don't you?"
Yes. They told me he was going to get me once I was alone.
He didn't tell you about a deal?
No. What deal?
I don't know. They offered me a deal. I don't know that I can trust it.
And this is a whispered, silent conversation you're having with him, or out loud?
We're whispering, but you could probably.
You probably
you're
hear him.
sitting right next to us.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could probably try.
It wouldn't take much for you to eavesdrop on this conversation.
I almost feel like I should cast a prayer, but I almost don't know if it would help. Maharn's going to ponder and wait and contemplate the wisdom of asking protection. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know how loose you are with creative spell usage.
What are you thinking of doing?
Offering, asking for protection, but instead of like a physical, like to protect our soul, protect our spirit, and hopefully protect them from whatever's affecting their mind.
What is there a
Prayer spell.
prayer?
Really, yeah, it gives them a +1 to everything, +1 bonus.
Yeah, I like that.
That's,
I think that's a good way for you to give them some type of defense here. Yeah.
does not last long, but hopefully can break whatever's with them right now.
So basically about an hour goes by and you're all sitting by this log and Baden is starting to
Wait,
get
what?
Baden is sitting by the log and about an hour has gone by and there's been no sight of the gnome. Baden starts to say, "We would have been in with Nantar by now, friends."
What are you saying? Something's happened to our friend?
I'm just saying this is a long way to go for a promise that we don't know he can keep.
Come together this far, let's continue to trust each other, not cast doubt amongst ourselves.
Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Should he come back and lead us further, it seems that this is just as treacherous of a path.
Yeah, I will admit, he didn't say how hard it was going to be.
I know we're not as nimble and small as he is, but it seems like he may have underestimated that. Anyway, where the hell is he?
Indeed.
And
I
with
could go look. You want me to go look?
with that, just as you're starting to wander off to go and look, you see him emerge and come walking from the forest behind you, just a few feet away, and he comes walking out, and he's carrying a small burlap cloth, and he brings it over, and he lays it out, and he starts to pull, and you can see there's some dirt. He's like trying to clean off these root-looking beets, white, almost clear, even looking things, and he brings it to you first, Gregor. He says, "Here, this will help your mind, and I'm sorry, it was not as accessible as I remember." And
That's disgusting. You really want me to eat that?
For your own good.
There's no other way.
unless you want to talk with them more.
Gregor,
They said they would give me a deal. Maybe they could help a Mithra. Maybe we should make a deal with them.
Saharn just not thinks you should not trust this. It's probably
Yeah, no.
possibly a lie. This
My-
could possibly be a trap.
I might just point towards the Mithra. What do you think she would say?
If she was wearing that crown, she'd say yeah. Oh, all right. Does anyone have any spirits to wash this down? Something,
I've
some
got-
wine or
I've-
something?
I have more of the fresh water, and Renwick will hand that to you to wash it down with. But as you start to eat it, it actually tastes pretty good. It actually tastes pretty sweet, unexpectedly soft and chewy. So it melts in your mouth, and after it does that, you, even in the moments after you had known that all of your thoughts had been rifled through, as a so to speak, you've also still felt like your mind is maybe not back to its former self. But as you eat this, you start to feel more that way. You start to feel like that fatigue, that mind fatigue, is like lifting.
Mm-hmm.
And the others start to eat theirs as well, and they report a similar thing. And he hands some to the rest of you and says, "Put this in your pockets if you need it."
Okay.
You all can have that, and that's iron root.
Is this something we can stock up on, my friend? Is this plentiful here?
This took me a while to harvest. I'm sorry it took me that long. I figured this would be enough to get us through a day or so. We could find more if needed in the future, but there was no more where I found this.
So we are limited in what we have.
Does he have extra for me to carry, or just the stuff that I took? Get better.
Yeah, you can have one extra, so everybody should have one in their inventory, like one dose in
Okay.
their inventory. Yeah, and then we can get rid of this effect.
One use. Okay.
So really, it's been several hours, and it's been pretty much a full day of travel down here to where Renwick says that we can find some safety here, friends. And he says, "Follow me," and he leads you down this little cavern here off to the side. And as you're walking through this, you can see that it's cold in this cavern. The floor actually has like frost on it as you're walking. It's a little bit slippery, but you're able to make your way around and up into this little flat area where he leads you. And he says, "We will be safe here. We can rest. Everyone can recover their strength. We probably need to fortify ourselves, and I'll think through my plan a little bit better of what our best path might be tomorrow. So you guys can basically hole up in here, and we'll just set it like a watch order, and then give you guys a chance if there's anything you want to role play or do character-wise here for the camping.
I just bring up that whatever they were, they know everything that I know. Felt them rifle through my memories.
That's not ideal, but
Irving.
just we'll try to keep it at that. I think the first thing they do is look through your memories, and the second thing they do is begin to invade your fears and thoughts. So be wary of further mind attacks.
Oh, how safe are we from creatures?
We should be fairly safe in here. I think we will keep watch. If someone wants to set the watch order, I think those of you like Gregor and the others, they won't be able to keep watch. They're going to need to have full rest this evening. So it would be Baden, Saharn, Nod, and Renwick, I think, or Kurza as well. So there's 5 of you that could watch over.
If we camp back here out
I
of sight,
can.
I was thinking of maybe setting a glyph of warding here at the entrance. And anything that violates that space physically, it will set it off. That will be the condition.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, if you want to mark on where you want to put it, you can draw on the map or something, just wherever you're putting that.
Let's see, let's just say right there. I'll
Okay.
paint it on the ground, draw it on the ground, right there. And we will name it Ted. So anyone who doesn't know to speak the word when
Ted.
stepping into
Ted
that
is
area, right?
the password.
Yep. That's
Okay.
it.
So I think this would be the point when you might be pulling out whatever food stock you actually have amongst you and looking at that, and probably not loving the idea of eating dry rations, but obviously you can eat that or some of the other things that you've got in your inventory. But everybody here is kind of pretty beat up after all of the travel that you've done, and you're damp and tired and hungry and all of those things.
I'll create a feast. Create food and water for us. How's that? We're going to get our spells back anyway, technically speaking. But
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
I think
What
we
kind
need
of food do you
refresh-
make?
Wow.
That's a great question.
Wow. Wow.
Do you pull
Well,
out like
we're
an
doing
old
great.
favorite?
Because it's highly
Fried
nutritious. Yeah. You know what?
Like some kind of like old like pro camper recipe? Something
No.
from here.
Or a sea elf?
Sea elf, yeah.
With soup. Clam chowder. There we go. I'm making a clam kind
Okay,
of
I love it.
Oh,
That's awesome.
soup.
good.
Delicious whale milk to drink. You'll love it. It'll be good.
Did you say whale milk?
I did. Pulled that out of my butt. I don't know.
So let's have our.
Is it-
I'm gonna roll for the 4 of you who are going to keep watch. I guess who's going in what order?
I'll take the first half, since I only need 4 hours of rest.
Okay, Renwick will keep watch with you, because he's the same way. So he'll keep watch with you. And then the rest of you will just be solo.
That's fine. I'll take what little rest I need and spend my watch in contemplative meditation. Oops. Through a line there we don't. What do I erase?
All right. Renwick and Kurza, during the first couple hours here of watch, as you're settled into this little corner, you hear movement again in the caves deep within, rumbling and movement. Not stone on stone, but more like rustling and movement that you would expect to be of another creature, very likely. But as often as you sit there and listen and look, nothing emerges. But you definitely hear stuff, and if you were seeking it out, you could probably find it, or it would find you. Throughout, for the most part, nothing comes close enough for you to see or smell. And you hand it off to the second group. The night goes by smoothly for that second watch. Third watch, again, movement, and then this time it gets as close as where you can sense that there's heavy movement in the mushroom forest, to the point that you're maybe thinking about checking it out or telling someone, and then it goes away. And then the last watch is when you hear this again, that there's movement out in that mushroom forest. And this would be the first, you would start to hear like a ringing for the first time coming from that direction. It's like a high pitch, pretty loud and sharp. So for everyone else, you can roll wisdom checks to see if you waken from that noise. So basically, if you pass, you awaken. If you fail, for whatever reason, it didn't awaken you. Those of you who awaken, you hear that kind of chirping almost sound that's coming, echoing from that mushroom forest area. And it goes away. You sit there for a few moments and nothing emerges, but it's woken you up, and it's pretty much the end of the night. You're all stirring now, and you can awaken Gregor and the others and see how they're feeling. So Gregor and the two pirates need to roll saver spell checks.
Sing with us.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, Gregor, you're feeling much better today. Much better.
A
Did
good
not-
night's rest will do it.
I did not see Gregor's roll, but
Oh, yeah, it rolled to
Nope.
me. She got a 18.
that's
Uh,
the first pirate.
Okay.
Somebody else can take another roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we both failed again, bro.
Yeah. So the pirates look like they're still slowed and holding their heads, and they're going to be unable to carry things today. They're moving slow, their heads hurt, they don't feel well, and they can't really focus on carrying or doing much other than just following you guys. They're in zombie mode still, unfortunately, but Gregor's back. So Gregor can carry everything and or a Mithra if needed, and you guys made it through the night.
I don't think I can carry 2 chests and a Mithra, but yeah.
I can put some of the gold in some of my robe pockets, and it won't weigh me down. But I don't know that it'll be a whole lot in a belt of many pouches.
Why don't you try?
Yeah, we'll load up a few of each of the pouches till doesn't already have anything in it, and I don't want to overload each pocket, so to speak. But
All right, let's see. What can we carry in this thing? Because it was...
it might lighten the load at least a little bit. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
not...
sure the chest
it's not
itself
much.
is
It's
too.
like less than 200 coins that you can carry in your pouches, so it's not making a big dent in the thousands that you had stuffed into there, I think.
Well, at what is it, 10 per pound?
Yeah, so you can do 100.
That's 20 pounds.
You can do, I guess we'll just round this to 200. You can do 200 coins in your... That's if it was like empty. So you tell me how much you carry in there. But 200 would be the max that you could fit.
100 gold coins in there.
Might as well have some money
Just to,
on you anyway.
yeah,
All
just
right.
something to try lightening the load. I don't know that I have anything else that would help other than empty.
So Nod, you're getting ready, and you get a big whiff of something that smells like a living creature to you. It's an odd smell. It's not a familiar smell. But you catch a whiff of that as you're prepping up in the morning. Brandon's... Can you hear me or not?
I'm here. Yeah, no, familiar in how, like a minotaur?
No, not
Ow.
familiar. It's not familiar. It's an unfamiliar
okay.
smell. Yeah.
What kind of range?
How close is it? Is it just the one that we heard last night?
It's
the one that woke us?
probably 50 to 60 feet away would be your estimate.
It'd be safer to leave things here and fight it before we move on.
As an idea, Saharn says, this doesn't look well traveled around here.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look well traveled.
For expedience sake, we could risk stashing our treasure here in this little cave. Lift will last basically until it's set off. We can set up any other precautions, or maybe just risk leaving it, and then we can move through here faster for the sake of Mithra. All we have to do is worry about her body, and if we come back and our treasure's gone, so be it, but it
Yeah.
may be worth the risk for expedience.
It's true.
What's the
That's
group?
wise.
The group thinks to go ahead and leave the chests behind for now. Is that the?
I think in our weakened state with this thing messing with us, whatever is happening to our friend's mindset, it's not worth the trouble, and it might be a detriment to us actually getting up here alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now they can't help with their primary duty, which is to haul gear and treasure around, and so they're in a bad way right now if they're hurting your group because that's what they're the mules. So the mules are sick.
Yeah, but the longer we stay here, it's not going to improve.
Yeah.
No,
So we should I vote we just leave the chests and strike out at a quicker pace.
All right, let me draw
I think-
them. I'll draw them on the map.
Can you haul the other guys, the sailors, because they're moving at slow pace because they are affected at this point.
If you want to grab some more coinage and put it in your pockets, feel free. But
Yeah, I'll carry as much as I can.
or is that you're comfortable carrying quietly?
Yeah, it's a situation of where you're going to stuff all the coins and how you're going to do that. Because if you're truly carrying all that you can, yeah, you'd be on the edge of encumbrance, which would
Right.
be difficult
My
too.
weight allowance is only 55, and I'm not sure what the plate mail weighs, but you said
Yeah.
it was +2, so maybe it's a little lighter, but as well. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah, you're encumbered. You're heavily encumbered already.
Yeah, nope, not gonna happen.
See, Nod almost acting like a child, just fighting over the goal. No, I don't want to leave it.
I know we've taken it so far.
You really have. It's traveled with you for a bit from above.
Or nod, drop the iron and other stuff, and grab the gold. That would be the other thing. Leave the
exchange
less valuable stuff.
less valuable for
and
more.
exchange it for the good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
exchange
yeah,
it
you were
for the.
carrying like some ore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Nod has silver ingots, iron ingots, about 400 pounds of gold. He's carrying a mytho, which is about 200.
It's the iron
Uh,
ingots. They're heavy and of a lot less value than.
Weight, they are
Then
10
the
pounds
gold.
apiece, and I'm carrying 4 of them.
Still, that's 40 pounds.
In
Do you
terms
have
of-
any?
going to
Are
buy
we
me
carrying
more iron
extra
ingots?
weapons or anything? You know.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got maybe a few magical weapons that you're carrying too. I don't know.
Drop the non-magical stuff. There's not much point in keeping
Yeah.
non-magical stuff that we've picked up along the way.
Hey, since we did a rest cycle, can you identify Saharan's amulet from the coral chest?
It'll take me 8 hours today.
Oh, yeah, no, forget it. Sorry, I forgot about that.
that amulet from a long while ago, I thought I gave that up to Curza.
Did you? It's in the unassigned,
Yeah, it was,
unidentified magic items, but
Oh,
Oh, it's an amulet of water breathing.
that's right.
okay,
But,
I'll take it
yes,
off
we did.
there then.
That's why he didn't need it.
Yeah.
I think
Which-
I gave it up. We
which
didn't
is
even
why-
know what it was.
That was why you couldn't detect what it was. Actually, it was one of the problems. You already have that ability, so it's funny that you ended up with that amulet. But anyway, that's how it fell. Nod, you're getting this odor, and Renwick's kind of looking at you, noticing that you're getting the smell, and he's thinking, should we take a look? And before you can answer, he starts to slowly walk in that direction, and he's gonna sneak around the corner to see if he can't take a look. So he like dips around the corner. Anyone want to follow, or is everyone still prepping?
I'm contemplating drink scores right now, what actually he's leaving behind.
Oh,
Because
okay.
if I get
Yeah.
it to 618, I could theoretically just be slightly encumbered. Moderately encumbered. But yeah, I guess I would have to drop all the iron ingots. Fine.
Ore. You said you had some ore?
Silver ingot. I didn't pick up any ore. I had ore, and then
Oh,
we
okay.
got rid of the ore for the ingots.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like...
I have an odd idea.
Hmm?
Best ideas are the odd ideas.
You're probably not going to like this, but if it comes down to it, and we're faced with a real overpowering threat, perhaps we could offer them this magic crown. They let us go without any conflict, like as a peace offering. What are we going to do with it? It just messes with our head, right?
Yeah. We've got two drow short swords.
Yeah, we could offer one of those.
We could just leave them here. Then there's
They
Arn has a
were-
leather armor.
Um,
Yeah.
Drow short swords are not magical, right?
Renwick returns, and he kind of has a concerned look on his face, and he says, "Something approaches. Be ready. Guard your thoughts."
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'll
dear.
set down the chest and the body and everything for now, so I'm not encumbered.
Back around the corner. Draw it to us. The glyph is
You'll
still
also see him throw down like 4 iron ingots, like 3 long swords, like a handful of pythons, and other miscellaneous stuff.
gotcha.
It's a hard.
It's your little
Could you
stash
do
in that corner.
a protection from evil, maybe? This is out of character, obviously, but
I'm awaiting. I suggest we back around the corner. I will say a prayer if you'd like. And I think protection from evil is not a group thing, is it? It's an individual, where a prayer can affect the whole group.
I see. Yeah, you're
Do
right.
I have that right? And then if there's something, if we stay back, at least behind what's glyphed, if there is something, draw it right to us, and hopefully it won't notice the etching on the ground, and it'll just set off the trap, and we'll have a first hit. Quickly speaking.
So you guys are like standing in that edge, and you see this. Those of you that can see a apparently a humanoid figure walk from the cavern and stop in the hallway outside of the area where you are, between the log and the room that you're in. And you can see from the side that it's maybe a little bit smaller than a human, maybe more of like an elf size, but that it has these long tentacles coming from its face.
No!
And
Oh,
No!
and it's walking sideways with its profile. You're looking at like its left profile, and it's like standing looking at the log for a second when it turns to face your direction. And you guys can all now see this. It should be... And you hear this voice, a familiar voice to some of you, to Gregor particularly, in your head. But now you all hear this voice in your heads. And this thing doesn't flinch or anything as it turns and makes eye contact with you. And it says, "The intrepid adventurers make their way further. It seems fortune has favored us with an unexpected meeting. I am Zalthun, and I know some of you, but I don't know all of you yet. I'm excited to get to know you." And with that, go ahead and do wisdom checks here. He's not casting a spell or anything. This is just more of a perception thing.
Use an astonishing fortune, Gerzo.
I only got a couple of those left, but he
It's
said this
pretty
is more of a
late.
perception. Oh, this is true.
what are we rolling?
Wisdom check.
How late are we going?
How long do you guys want to go? You guys good to go till 12:30 or 1 Eastern, or?
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
no later than 1.
Okay. We'll wrap somewhere closer to 1 then. So we've got a little bit, almost an hour left.
Yeah, we should maybe save it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's
Just
see.
to double check, how much were you saying gold weighs?
I thought it was like I forget now what it
20
was.
per round?
It's like 10 or 20 per pound. I think we said 20. I think we said 20. I think they roll 10 and we roll 20.
Yeah, because 10 seems
10 is
ridiculous.
crazily low. Yeah.
They'd be huge, and I'd imagine gold pieces need to be tiny, rather small.
All right. So let me
125.
just a second. I'm just sending something here.
I'm gonna whisper to Nod. It's just a bad thing. I'm looking at that thing I've never seen before.
All right. He comes like to that point, like on the edge of where your spell is and where you guys are holed up in that little cavern. And he again is like looking at you, and he says, I guess I should introduce myself after all. I am Zalthun, is what you could call me. And I need not have you introduce yourselves. I seem to know a little bit about you. But I do think you have found yourselves in quite a difficult position. And I could make it less difficult for you. If you would listen to
Yeah?
me.
How's that?
You know of the threat that lies ahead. Let's just say that it would be a mutual interest if we were able to disable it.
Oh, the floating threat, as it were.
Yes, if we must speak his name,
No,
then
that's
he'll hear us. But it is that name. And, would you remember that? And, so you know what he's talking about. And, again, he's in your mind here telling you this, and he says, no one will come for your things. No one wants your trinkets.
You.
But if you help me dispatch of this nuisance, then I will ensure that you can pass freely.
What if we don't want to fight a nightmare fairy tale creature? What if we just want to be on our way?
Yes, you could do that too. You could do that too. And it almost looks like you might make it. But rest assured, this information I have now is very valuable.
I look at Kurza. Yeah, Kurza and Saharn.
so you
Nod.
can detect it then, and know what it's thinking.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So you know where it is, and you know what it's thinking.
Oh, I know about where it is. I can guess what it's thinking. His tentacles and mind are quite powerful as well.
Mhm.
Not sure if we should trust this.
Yeah, you would probably see if you're looking at Nod, his hand is steady on the nice shiny longsword that he has, and
You follow this
Yeah.
gnome into a hole in the ground. Do you think he knows his way?
Yeah,
But you
he's
didn't.
trying to sow dissent between us, I whisper.
He brought you to
No,
us.
but he makes a point.
He brought you right to me.
He told us we would meet you.
And you would follow him further.
Been our loyal companion so far.
What's Renwick doing?
He's standing with his hand on his hilt, ready to pull it, not sure. Also looking at the rest of you to see. But he hates this thing.
Yeah.
He won't look at it. He's looking down, you notice, right away. He won't make eye contact with it. And for those of you that do make eye contact with it, you definitely feel like it's constantly looking at you, never blinking. And no matter where you move, it's like it's looking you in the eye. It's looking all of you in the eye. You feel like it's just got this stare, this gaze to it that isn't in one direction. It's just huge pupils and very alert looking creature. Definitely
eyes.
And
intense.
you and your minions are unable to handle it.
What does it want us to kill?
Just a beholder.
Yeah.
But
I've
you
seen many
can't
things
do
under
upon
here,
your
from
request,
medusas to yourself and other
Medusas.
things. Indeed. Not near here. miles away, or days
Hmm.
away, if you will.
Let alone the
Make a save or spell.
Yeah, the lich was a
Curza.
problem. What's that?
Make a save or spell, please.
Is that? There it is. No. This one?
It's under the info tab.
Yeah.
Thing.
It's
And then
half trouble
there's
is
another.
finding out
Yeah.
where it is. Now I think I want to use one of those astonishing fortunes.
You
Thank
saved
you.
one just for this moment. Yeah. That's a critical fail, man. That was. All right, last fortune. One fortune remains.
At least it wasn't critical.
No, it wasn't critical. No, it was not critical. So, Kurza, your mind starts to race. You can see in your mind's
I
eye,
have this. I think I'll eat that little iron root.
pull
That's
it
a
out
good
and start
idea.
eating it. Yeah. Okay. So
Yep.
as you're eating the iron root, you can feel as you're going through these memories and where you've been, it's like you kind of get to this point where the story starts to feel like painful to think about. It's you're like thinking all the way up through Raven's Bluff, and you're like getting to that point where you're thinking of when you were in I can't remember the name now of the place, the House of Vespers, where you saw Caddison last. And you have this memory right there. You've gone through everything up until that point. When you reach that point, your memory starts to skip, and you're like forgetting big chunks and skipping ahead. And the last thing that races through your mind is what you did in the Minotaur Labyrinth when you fought the large Minotaur, right? And all of the kind of things that you treaded through, you feel have been transacted through your mind to this thing, but there's been some big skips that have taken place because you started eating the root while it was happening, but at the same time he got the big picture from you, and you definitely feel your mind has been invaded and your memories have been invaded, but maybe there are some secrets you still have where it doesn't know everything that you know up to date anyway. So the rest of you see this again. It's not
Oh,
speaking out loud, but it's speaking in your minds. So it's almost like having a conversation with each of you separately, asking each of you separately in your mind. And when you respond, no one else would really know what your response is. Will you join me and kill the beholder?
no.
Let me let you guys think about that for a second. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry. 2 minutes.
All right, guys.
Tempted
like
to
it.
just jump on him.
That's what I'm thinking. So so Harn's gonna just silently just look at you people and what do you think?
I'm trying to figure out whether the Mind Flayer is going to be less of a problem than the Beholder.
I think Truth of Monsters, we probably are better off against a Mind Flayer than.
Yeah, but then we're going to have to beat the Beholder anyway.
Potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Either on the way out or the way back.
What do you guys think if we just refuse and tell this guy, no, be on your way, we'll make our own way? If
Then
there's
he'll
any
eat our
chance,
brains.
That's what Gregor would say, because he said he would let us be on our way. He might not, but
Like
We
any
put
other
the crown
deal,
on
we
him.
have no. We don't know if he's going to keep his word. He might have so far, but apparently we're more useful to him as
The
than
longer I
his
think he's with
minions.
us, the more likely I think we are to get our mind eaten.
by the way, Jamie,
No.
you are not a real gamer. I've just decided. Real gamers do not take bio breaks. Real gamers wear Depends.
One day I'll be a real gamer.
Are you confessing that you're that hardcore?
Oh
Wait.
boy.
We got a real gamer here.
Yeah, we got a real gamer.
Yeah.
All right, this thing has reached out to each of you in your mind to ask you to gauge your personal interest in this, right? And it's doing so in a way that would sound somewhat, I don't know. I'll let you determine that. But what are your responses? What are your thoughts?
If it can read our thoughts, then it definitely senses from Zaharn mistrust but no violent intentions. He'd rather just get out of this unviolently. He wants it to leave us alone.
But yeah, if he's reading Nod's mind, he would definitely sense violence.
Yeah, he's not invaded Nod's mind at all yet. Although speaking to you, it's not really tried to tug at Nod's memories much, or at least you've been successful in avoiding its attempts to do. Yeah, so it's, I think, yeah, again, like, it senses obviously that you're all feeling threatened. Like, it doesn't seem concerned by that at all.
Gregor
Well,
just speaks
the
his
main-
mind. He says, I think we should be on our way. I think we need to prioritize a Mithra. You still think we can sneak past this beholder, Renwick?
He says as long as he doesn't disturb things.
There's the. I'll speak to the Mind Flayer this time and just say, you've just now shown that we can't trust you.
How about this? We
So
give you
why should
something.
we do this for you if you've already shown that we cannot trust you?
Yeah, here's our counteroffer. If we give you something powerful and magical, will you create a distraction and lead the beholder away so we may pass?
Wow, that's a
I like that idea.
very interesting thought. How
You
about
seem to like deals.
a charisma check on that offer? See
Throw him some way.
how well. I think that your trinkets I could take anyway. If that was what I was here for, I would have already taken them.
That's fighting words for Nod.
Okay. We're gonna do this, let's do this.
Yeah, the Hunt's about had enough of this.
All
He just
right.
said,
Yeah, without much warning, with that threatening to take his trinkets, Nod
Yeah.
would try to throw his hammer.
Perfect.
Yeah,
All right.
there's not like it's going to be much surprise going on.
Go ahead and
Yeah,
roll initiative because it sounds like we're gonna need to track everybody's movement anyway.
no. I'm just going to tell it to you. No, we declined, and we respectfully be on your way, and we will be on ours. And I'll just tell the group, come on, let's go. See what it does. If it's going to attack us first or not, but let's try not to provoke it.
Are you gonna stop Nod?
Yeah, I think that's the real question.
Because I don't know how close you are to him. If we're judging by this tableau, probably reach him. But can you stop him? He's a pretty big guy.
All right. All right. So I think go ahead and roll initiative, or everyone just roll. You don't have to attack, but I want to track everybody to see, because if it does break into attack, obviously.
Looking where that is on the dang character sheet again.
Weapons, you can just create a empty
Yeah,
weapon and then click the initiative button. Oh, maybe not.
we got it.
Got it? Okay. Alright, so it looks like Kurza got a 1, so that's gonna be first anyway. So Kurza, what are you thinking here?
Same thing. Just ask a statement, basically. So your offer to us is follow your orders or else you're going to kill us all. Is that your offer?
I don't know,
Because you've just told us that.
let's see. I think his response would be, I have not threatened your lives. There's
Not
no need to.
directly.
There is no need. Your very presence is threat enough to your lives. Each step you take leads you to it. I have nothing to do with your death.
Yeah, it may be unwise, I'm thinking, as a player to refuse this guy's help. We maybe run into that beholder, but Saharn's just going to respond with, then be on your way and we will be on ours.
Yeah, I agree. This is a tough dilemma because on the one hand, cooperating is probably a good idea, but on the other hand, fighting a beholder for sure is a bad idea, which we might
Well-
not have to.
But we don't trust this thing, right?
To a certain extent, if he's not willing to engage it himself, he
It's
needs our
really-
help to do it.
I'd say it's on Nod at this point. It's your turn, Nod.
I'd say Nod was committed. He threatened my precious trinkets and items, and that's a big no. So Nod would fully commit to throwing this hammer.
All right, go
So now
ahead.
we're opening
He threatened
combat,
us.
Nod.
He started attacking our people even without us. Him coming and talking to us. He just already started attacking us through the mind.
That is true.
And yeah, roll an attack. We're in combat.
It's like, why would you want to go fight the big bad Minotaur when you could go and fight a Mind Flayer instead? That's my motto. I gave you
Right.
2 paths, and I love that you guys have ended up here. All right.
Hey, we can do a TPK.
You are an evil DM.
Yeah. Why walk armored into the combat with the pet dog when you can walk naked into the dragon's den? Let's go.
It's AC 5 to hit, so I know
We do have another fortune, but
you
it
have
might
one
be worth
left.
saving.
Yeah, you have one left. So just letting you know.
We could
Yeah,
always
the-
wait until next time to finish this. We'd have more astonishing fortune left.
Metadata.
You guys are
12:30.
smarty.
We
Uh,
might
all-
have more full.
Yeah.
That is
Just
true. The rest of the party
coincidence.
could weigh in on this too.
just by coincidence, we all just happened to DC at the same time. Wow.
let me
Roll
Right.
20. Goodness.
give it an action here real quick, and
I am
Yes.
half tempted to take the offer just because.
If you don't leave us alone, that will be you next, not the cave wall.
Well, Chris,
Well,
tactically,
If we're going to
I
have to
feel you're right.
engage the beholder now or later, engage it now with his help.
Or what if we
And-
don't have to engage it? What
Okay.
if we are able to
Well,
get through
that-
it?
We don't know that.
Let's say
Yeah,
tactically,
but
Chris, I
it may
agree with
happen
you. In story, in character, I don't think any of us trust him. It's going to have to be a no,
Well,
and
that's the problem. Yeah,
not already
I don't
attacked him.
particularly trust him too.
At this point, Renwick hasn't lied to us, and he said he could get us through. So Nod has
Yeah.
confidence in.
Yeah. Not already
Um,
attacked him, so I
yeah,
think we don't
yeah.
have no
Well,
choice.
that ship has sailed. It's just a matter of what happens next here. So
Upset in Jamie's side, DMing a beholder attacking a party, and it wasn't a pretty sight. The only thing that saved them was a wand of wonder and a coating of chocolate on the beholder, blocking all of the eyes simultaneously.
All right, so our beholder is, or not our beholder, our Mind Flayer here sees the attack, the hammer come flying by it, and he suddenly disappears. And let me have everybody make a wisdom check.
Okay. When did Mind Flayers get this ability? What is he doing? This is interesting.
Well, it's either an illusion or he's invisible.
Or, and this is, so everyone knows this but Gregor, or he has teleported and he is now standing behind
Somewhere
you,
else.
and he's actually standing by your chest that you left in the corner here. And as you turn around, you see him with his head on top of Quig's head, with his tentacles wrapped around Quig's face, and looks like he's sucking
Oh,
from Quig. As you turn around and you see this, he is enjoying himself at the moment where Quig is screaming in pain and then suddenly silent. Shall we continue? Or do you want to save this for your friends to clean this up?
I
think it's a good cliffhanger.
it is a good cliffhanger. Personally, emotionally, I just want to kick this guy's butt right now.
I know, I do too.
I think
but-
we're dead.
Hey, this game just doesn't hurt. You know,
No,
I made
that's
it to
true.
5th level. That's okay. I can start a new level 1. We'll be fine. But it could also
Well, that
end
would solve my problem with this tattoo.
that, yeah, but then
Yeah.
our missing friends will come back in 2 weeks going, what do you mean the campaign's over? Everybody died. What happened?
At least let them
Everybody with the
witness that.
tattoo is dead, so it doesn't really matter. And
Yeah, I think it's a good place. I think it's probably a good place. We could stop here and come into battle in the next session, and it'll be at the top of the order. So we'll probably just roll a whole new turn order with everybody who can make it, and go from there.
Okay.
But Quig's in a bad spot, and that's
He's the shell of his former self.
there you go. That's where we'll leave it. Is with Quig as a shell of him former self.
My favorite.
He was a really good carrier of things. He brought your loot quite a distance, actually. Quite a distance. Put some miles on your loot with Quig, and he joined you. Like, he jumped off the ship with you all, right? He's seen a lot. Fortunately, his last sight would be pretty gruesome way to go, but
Yep. The note says, yeah, Zalthun teleports behind party, eats Quig's brain.
that's it. Yep, that's
Combat
it.
ensues. Yep.
And we'll pick up right there in combat next time. Anybody else have anything they want to add or say?
Oh,
You said this was session
Interesting.
42?
3.
3.
43, okay.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We probably should have taken out the head Minotaur instead, but
We're expediting this for Mithra's sake, but I wish this guy would have just left us alone.
Yeah, it's
Now
a tough situation because you don't want him to refuse him, and he's not really clear about what if he's just going to attack you outright or just sabotage you, right? So it's a very murky situation. But that's how they are. That's how they operate. And for him, like, he's getting more out of your minds than he's gonna get out of your objects. So he's at this point probably knows a lot. He knows a lot about, like, where you've been, where you're going, what you're thinking, what your motivations are, who you know. Those things have been divulged to him. So he starts to become now a liability for you. Because if he starts to spread that information and use that, then it's like they'll know way too much about you guys.
Yeah, he could barter with our enemies, right?
Yeah.
It's probably better that we kill him if we can.
Yeah, I think so. I think at this point, once he's invaded your minds and you weren't able to stop him from getting all of that information, it starts, like, who the rest of you are starts to come into context for him. But
my guess, little DM brain, is if he would have accepted his offer and then we went to help him fight the Beholder, he would have probably picked the most opportune moment to stab us in the back. Anyway.
Yep.
I'm
Renwick,
kind of with you. I think he would have just sucked our brains, continued to attack our minds as we traveled, and we just gave him an excuse to be close and do it.
Oh.
yeah, I think
I don't
Renwick would have an innate mistrust, like anybody would, just looking at this thing, but also just to the point that there is no deal you could make with this thing, where you're going to lose any deal you make. It's very manipulative. Is always going to come out on top of every deal. And so I think that was like something Nod sensed right away. He's seen that bullshit for too long. He knows when somebody isn't going to give him a fair chance. So the fact that he drew first and broke this open, I think is very fitting. So
Okay.
but we'll leave it there. I'll save this, and we'll catch the guys up next time, and hopefully you got a full slate so that you can have the best chance possible. So
Since it's been 20 some years since I've done anything, I'm gonna refrain from opening any books and studying mine. I'm just gonna come into this next 2 weeks like I don't know anything. I love it. No metadata. I hate it.
yeah, well,
It's more fun that way.
the dice will
Of course it
the
is.
dice will
Yeah.
determine it all anyway. So, but yeah, I hope you all had a good time. I had a good time. It was fun, and glad we were able to have a session. I know it's been a little while. I'm looking forward to getting everybody back, hopefully next time. And
Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Great
It was
game.
fun
Yeah.
seeing everyone again.
have a nice weekend. Enjoy it.
Oh,
we'll
you
see
did
y'all.
the same. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy an e-bike. That's the rest
Oh,
of my
cool.
weekend.
Enjoy it.